Hello, I just got back from work and I have something to say. I was Gaijin seated today, and if you don't know what Gaijin seating is, it is basically when Japanese people choose not to sit next to a foreigner on public transportation for whatever reason. And a lot of people who will say, oh, Japan is a homogenous society, they're not racist, they're not xenophobic, they're just uncultured, they're just ignorant, they just don't know. Those are the main people who I will see making excuses and justifying Gaijin seating in people's comments when they experience it. Whenever I was Gaijin seated, I didn't really care about it, and that term didn't pop to my mind because I too wanted to make those excuses, and it wasn't for the sake of Japanese people, it was so that my mental health did not crumble to the ground. I didn't want to think about why these people would choose not to sit next to me when the train is packed. I've had an old woman literally bumping into people, and the only empty seat was next to me and she did not sit. This morning I was on a bus, absolutely packed, people were standing up, the only empty seat was next to me. I tuck my legs to the side as soon as someone comes onto the bus, and then if they don't sit next to me, I spread my legs again because I want to enjoy my Gaijin seat. You know, if you're going to give me that opportunity, I'm going to stretch, I'm going to man spread all over that bus. But what upset me and what made me want to talk about this today is that after I stood up, he immediately sat down in my seat. And that stung a little bit. And then I got off the bus and the bus went past me and other people had sat down. So those people wanted to sit down. Do you know what I mean? Like, the opportunity was there and they did not want to sit next to me. And some people would be like, oh, well, maybe they saw you press the bell. No, like, it was like a 20-minute journey, babes. 20 minutes of wobbling. And then as soon as do you know what I mean? Like, it's things like that you want to make excuses because you don't want to feel isolated. You don't want to feel othered. And that's where the Gaijin seat comes from. I want people to understand that. It's not just like, oh my gosh, I'm the main character, why won't they sit next to me? It's a display of xenophobia and racism and Islamophobia in a lot of these cases, and sometimes it's subconscious. Sometimes it's based on prejudice and biases that they just grew up with, you know? Like, I've heard a lot of ignorance, and what I want people to understand is that the racism in Japan, the xenophobia, is not necessarily in your face. It can be very subtle. It's a lot of microaggressions. I made a whole video about this like 2-3 years ago in my first time living here, but it doesn't have to be overt for it to hurt. That's all.